Millimeter, it be accurately measured. It's measured flat, direction up and down. Flat level we at, flight over ground. Descending from that breeze, heading in degrees. Horizontal, flat, ESC. Now you know it's flat, below ground. Measured flat.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Sven P, Curved Fart, Pablo de la Cruz, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Tiers Morgan, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Names Burley, JMels24, Yu Unamento, Iron26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Bob Barker, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links, as I say, to Patreon are below this video. But with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
What dulcet tones?
Have millions of followers. So an average Joe believing that the Earth is flat is not an issue to them.
No,
you are not on some list even now believing 9/11 was an inside job. No, you're not.
No, I am on a list, sir, because I'm a time traveler. Yes, I am.
Have we got anybody else?
I took the cap off a long time ago. When I put on the cap and you guys start talking about cap.
Ziffy.
Yeah.
Chill out, dude.
I put on the
No, Ziffy. Look, we're looking for people to have genuine discussions with, right? You're just trolling in here, and I told you already, we're not going to tolerate it. If you want to have a genuine discussion about the Earth, then let's talk about it, dude. Sounds like you could learn a lot from us, but you got to let yourself open up to the idea of exploring the idea what you believe isn't true. So let's try again.
You were talking, I heard what you said, and I was like, flat Earth kind of makes a little sense. Right?
And what he said about flat Earth, can you repeat?
Well, the empirical measurements that they've taken have shown that they have measured the Earth to be flat. Okay, there is motion upon the Earth, which directly conflicts with is that pizza?
Bruh. Did you hear anybody saying anything about pizza?
No, I just smelled some pizza.
Yeah, good. That means it's good to troll.
Ziffy, how much have you drank or smoked today?
The pizza's in the freezer. That's good.
So pizza.
Because you're not very coherent. You're not very coherent, and I do want to talk to you, but it might be worth us moving on to, and just wait for somebody else, because you're just trolling, dude. It's kind of pointless.
Did he just say he knows that Earth is measured flat?
The flat earther just called me a troll. By God, sir. God damn, that's funny.
Yeah,
so
we're not trolling, dude. Like Sasha's about to tell you, this is a question of geometry. Go ahead, Sash.
Yeah, point of geometry. What has to do with any god or whatever? Do you know what is geometry?
Brother Sasha, was that directed towards me?
Geometry?
Yes, brother.
Do you know what is that?
Brother Mac.
It's not science.
True.
That means 2 miles. It's 2 miles. Now it's question: is it 2 miles curved or is it 2 miles flat? How will you find out that?
I put the server on mute for a second just so I can comment on what he's saying. So he's done what John despises. Oh, you're here, John. So refracted. What he's done is he's taken a statement of fact, which is 2 miles. That's an axiomatic horizontal measurement if you're talking about distance on Earth's surface. And then he's saying, is it 2 miles that's flat or curved? That's Sasha. Like, you've taken a statement of fact and put it into a false dichotomy statement.
Surprised at Sasha.
Well, it's everybody does this.
And that frustrates me when I hear it. But
Me too.
don't worry. The last of the radii benders are upon us.
Yes, I might use that as today's thumbnail. All right, let's take ourselves off mute.
Before you do,
it
did you
sounds like
notice
you're
that the
talking from
baller
emotion.
admitted that Earth was flat?
Do you know a pilot?
Yeah, there's several flat Earth pilots that have been in this channel, and there's videos of 40, 50 odd pilots who are basically not saying the Earth's flat, but saying, yeah, we treat the Earth as a flat stationary plane, right? When they fly the plane, if they was to, and this is in the pilot's handbooks, if they was to adjust for the curvature rate, which is 8 inch per mile squared, so over 10 miles, talking 166 feet of curvature, planes are flying hundreds of miles at high speed, which means the correction needed is going to be.
There it is again.
Yep.
If you're flying with a mile measurement, you've got a horizontal distance measurement. If you're going to descend, you're going to have a drop with respect to that distance. Now, it's if those miles bend, then they'd have to account for it. Again, it's both sides taking flat Earth by prerequisite, ignoring it, and then putting it into conditional statements and false dichotomies. Very annoying.
And that's why the debate is still going on.
Yeah, which means there's a debate. No need to put any conditional statement on it. We've got miles. That's the statement. We've got miles. It's measured in miles. Flat. End of discussion.
Yep. End of damn discussion.
Yep.
That quick.
Yep. I want to contest linear distance measurements. Okay. Feel free. But that's not what they're doing. They're saying,
the funny thing here is the baller admitted that the measurements are of a planar surface.
Yeah, he was going back to what somebody told him. That's what I think they were talking about.
Yeah, it sounded like he was steel manning the position that had been put to him thus far. That could be wrong. We've just joined, so it might not be the case. But yeah, that's what it seemed like. Right, I'm going to go off mute again so they can hear you if you do talk.
I was just saying, when you get your righteous kill, that's like what you should be telling them. Like,
no, you're a pussy, dude. You're a pussy. That's it. You're just a chicken. That's the end of it.
I'm a chicken.
Are you saying the bending of space-time regulated the flight of the aeroplane?
I'm just saying the gravity would pull it.
Yeah, I'm repeating what you're saying. You're saying that bending of space-time, it's regulating the flight.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming.
How we can prove that?
Whew. You wanted to prove that.
With the words, it's just you just say gravity and.
Now they're in a debate. So does the fourth dimensional pseudo-Riemannian bend the axiomatic flat linear distance? No. It's a flat linear distance. But because it's now in an if statement, we can suggest that we can violate the axiomatic principle of flat linear distances in miles and suggest that the reason they're bending is like they don't bend their measurements in miles. But now we've got a justification that we've got geodesic non-local conversions in geodesy. No, those aren't measurements. But the suggestion that once you've got the flat measurements, you can put it into the system and then make it into a geoid, convert it with Haversite. You're like, what? Convert the flat measurements that we're now whistling past? Because both sides have put these into conditional statements, the measurements, that is. There's no need for it, is there? So now they've got to figure out how to get out of a debate where the conditional statement of a mile has been violated already by both sides.
Yep.
Straight rock.
Okay,
every day.
one is to the sky. Okay, one straight line, and where is another straight line?
The sun as it moves, the shadow and the straight rock.
The sun, it's one straight line, that direction. What is another direction? What is another straight line to make an angle?
Man, I wasn't ready for this boat, boys. I walked off in the deep end.
Why are you speaking then? Why are you speaking then?
Because, like, man, I just really don't like flat Earth. How about that?
You don't like flat Earth. Do you like demons?
I tell you what it is. You've made the assumption.
Do you like demons and ghosts?
I'm getting whooped up by flat earthers.
Maybe you don't like demons
easily,
and you don't like demons. No, I want to tell him because he's here, he don't like flat earthers. But maybe he don't like demons, but he's not there. He's here. You think that flat earthers...
He gets distracted really easily, Sasha. You have to really, like, spell it out, dude.
Sorry.
Listen, dude, I just want to make a comment before Sasha continues. I believe you may have assumptions around Flat Earth. Flat Earth is not a cult. It's not a belief system. It's literally a bunch of people who understand the globe model and understand it doesn't comport with reality. And the only things we're going to talk to you about is how that doesn't comport, how the globe doesn't comport with the real world measurements we take. That's it. We're not here to push any agenda.
That typifies everything I hate about Flat Earth. Everything I despise about the subject. So Flat Earth's about a group of people who say it's not a ball. That's not Flat Earth, is it? Nothing like Flat Earth. Flat Earth's Earth being flat. And the measurements demonstrate that. Both sides have already whistled past them, and now I know that there's a group of people who say Earth's not spherical. That's not Flat Earth.
Nathan, this guy talking right now, he is a guru. If you can't hear that, he said it from the beginning. You can learn from us.
To roughly the correct height, I believe. Because
but here's your problem, though.
I too say, what, perpendicular to a plane of reference. Now we'll start using and rattling off flat Earth measurements, and everyone will ignore them. Let's see if I'm right.
But when you invoke gravity,
earlier that geometry was not science. Like Sasha asked him if he knew what geometry was, and he said it's not. And then Sasha comes back and told him, he said it's not science. I was like, don't tell him what it's not.
It's not right.
Tell him what it is.
Exactly. Who cares what it's not? Geometry is geo, that's Earth. Metric, as in measurements. It's Earth measurements. That's what geometry is. What is it? Well, it's not science. Who gives a crap what it's not? It's about the measurements. Miles, height in this instance. Anyway, it's listening a bit longer.
And then you release it. Before you release it, that phone's holding potential energy because it's out of equilibrium. It's up in the air being held.
Now we've got up and down, downward vectors. Up's perpendicular to a plane, down's perpendicular to a plane. We need a plane. So we're arguing about non-force force that you can think of as a force, named gravity, formally described in this exact discussion as being bent pseudo-Riemannian geometry. Now we're talking about 111-year out-of-date Newtonian downward vectors. So like, has it not already been established that we're talking about a specific type of gravity? Not specific gravity, bent pseudo-Riemannian fourth-dimensional space-time geometry. But now we're talking about downward vectors with respect to a plane, ignoring that a downward vector, that's Einsteinian gravity, is downward with respect to a plane. And we're talking about relative density disequilibrium rather than, well, this is a flat Earth measurement. It's down. Down's flat. It's perpendicular to a plane. No one's saying it. It's just, well, we've got stored energy. So Roots, this guy, is basically propping himself up based on his fart-sniffing understanding of heliocentrism rather than actually talking about Earth being flat with measurements. They're all being whistled past. Up in the perpendicular, down with respect to, I don't know, a solid item displacing air for for Newtonian gravity. Like, these are all flat Earth by prerequisite. No one's mentioning it. It's just an argument now about who's got the biggest dick when it comes to understanding heliocentric rhetoric. That's all that's all that's happening, isn't it?
That's correct.
It shows what gravity is.
Which one is it? Is it Einsteinian or is it Newtonian?
It's
or is it something else?
It's a little bit after them.
It's a little bit after Einstein.
They've been working on it for a while.
What gravity is it then? Obviously, we've got Newtonian gravity. We've got Einsteinian gravity. What gravity are you speaking about?
Just artificial gravity, I believe it's called.
Artificial gravity?
Non-natural source of gravity. Yeah. That was fun stuff.
I don't think you know what you're talking about, dude.
Before you guys came around and started shitting everywhere and making this motherfucking place stink.
Dude, you're making shit up. Don't talk to us about stinking out the place, mate. You're making shit up.
I'm making shit up. Okay. I can show you.
Artificial gravity is part of Einsteinian gravity. It's just Einsteinian. Right? You're talking about general relativity.
No.
This is not a separate. This is not a separate cause. The cause is still the bending and warping of space-time, which is hypothetical.
No. It's
still
demonstratable and reproducible in the lab.
What is?
The bending of space-time.
How?
Okay. Would you like me to?
Yeah, notwithstanding that they're whistling past downward vectors and fourth-dimensional pseudo-geometry, the guy, the flat earth or Roots, has got that wrong. The uneven distribution of mass is alleged to be causing the bent geodesic in Einsteinian's gravity. Who gives a shit? It's relative to a plane. It's like, but all we're doing is flexing on each other in, I know more about heliocentric rhetoric than you do. And in this instance, the flatties got it wrong. He said the bent space-time was the cause. Not in Einstein's mathematics. It's alleged to be the uneven distribution of mass is the causing of the bending and warping of space-time in a pseudo-geometry that relies on having a plane as part of the geometry. The extra pseudo-dimension of time doesn't stand outside of the three-dimensional regular geometry that it is also based on. It also needs a plane, like absolutely everything that's inferred to be directly tied to Earth measurements. So what are we talking about? The cause of a conceptual medium bending? Oh my God, this is just fart sniffer versus fart sniffer. The pseudo-intellectual flat earthers, what I call the pot-smoking conspiratards. Am I being moved? We'll see if I'm being moved. No, I'm still in the same room. Levitating themselves to the lowest social denominator that there is. Fart-sniffing dweebs, overgrown 12-year-olds who are interested in rockets and the solar system, are at the bottom of the pile. The only thing that's below them is engineered, and that's a flat earther who's societally placed below the dweeb. So what does the engineered flat earther do? Oh, well, I'm going to levitate myself to the fart-sniffing dweeb's level by learning all about what the fart-sniffing dweeb knows. That's heliocentrism, in this case pseudo-geometry, and conceptual mediums and their causes. Oh my God. So you've aspired to be a fart-sniffing dweeb. Now, I can say this because prior to coming to Flat Earth, I was that fart-sniffing dweeb. I was interested in space when I was 12, when I owned a telescope, when I bought the books and the apps and looked at the planets and studied the motions. Then I was interested in this stuff. A lot of flat earthers come to Flat Earth through conspiracy and then learn about heliocentrism. You know what I mean? So it's like you're aspiring to be a freaking boring dweeb, a spotty, adenoidal little prick. And that's what the hippie flat earthers have now aspired to be as they learn about this boring shite called heliocentrism. It's pretty sad, isn't it?
You're talking about...
They're not yet radii benders. Well, I don't think they've appreciated that's the anti-globers, so-called flat earthers, that to be heliocentric you need to be in a ball, measuring a plane, describing a protractor around you. In a ball moving around the sun, described from the sun if you're sun-centric, inside the sun. I like that little addition to my arsenal, by the way. Thank you for that, John.
Yeah, that's great. When you said that about the radii bender, I was like, immediately thought of The Last Airbender, and I was like, oh my God, it would be an amazing little cartoon, wouldn't it?
I take it you saw my thumbnail in Master B.
Yes, it's hilarious.
We're measuring no rotation of the Earth. If logically space violates the fucking laws of physics that we have, why should I believe it? Why? Because everybody else does. I'm not a sheep, dude.
But none of
You
that is
measure
true.
the not something.
None of that is true.
Oh, whoever just spoke then, we can't hear you very well. I think that's coming from
None of that
Nathan.
is true from his deathbed, dude.
Not Brenda, the other person who spoke.
Yeah, it was John.
Yeah, so dude, you've got all this defensiveness about flat Earth, but I think you've just got us completely misunderstood. We're not pushing any ideas. We're not pushing any philosophy. We're just pointing out that when it's measured flat.
All right, but when you talk, it pisses me off.
No, he's not.
It pisses
It
me
pissed
off.
me off. It pissed me off for the first 6 months as well, dude. It's a natural reaction.
What happened, dude? What happened, man? Like, who showed up?
I did the research, dude. I went and learned all the claims for the globe. And then I went and looked for direct evidence for those claims.
Just for now, lads, in G+, just try and hold your colour commentary just for now. Just till we're invited into the discussion. Otherwise, we're just disturbing their discussion. Because we can be heard, right? I'm going to go back off mute so they will hear you. If you feel obviously compelled, I can't stop you. But for now, just wait until we're invited into the discussion.
Yeah, no problem. I just heard him say that, and I haven't heard anything about measurements.
No, but my line flashed in the room. And that rhetoric, which is a new rhetoric, is effective and people do want to use it. And I think given that my light flashed and John said something, John's line is a bit crappy.
I didn't mean to. I just wanted to bend some radii.
Well,
Thank you. Do you want to engage, Roots, in the claims that you made and my counterclaims?
Not really, Brenda. No. I don't like your debate style and techniques.
What should I change about that you dislike?
I don't have any advice for you, Brenda.
We'll start with no. Do you understand the word no? If somebody tells you no, thank you.
Yeah, but what if somebody told them to say no?
Nobody told me to say no.
Okay, that's good.
No, the problem is I have very good arguments against the things that you say. And it hurts your feelings.
No, I don't think you have very, very good arguments, Brenda. I think you're very comfortable with appealing to the model and consensus. And that's something that I don't come to my conclusions in that way. So,
yeah, Brenda, we've all heard you scream like a banshee on live streams. The only person upset to this conversation is you. You come very emotionally charged, emotionally dysregulated. You blame other people for this. It's generally why people don't want to talk to you, because they're talking to someone who's crazy. You're incensed.
I don't scream.
Yes, Brenda, you've screamed multiple times, going back a decade now. You just lash out.
Yeah.
Yes, that is emotionally unstable.
That's the past. That's the past. Yeah, and I have perfectly good arguments for all the claims you make.
Why do you sound like a man?
Why do you sound like a child?
No, I don't. But like you sound like a grown man.
Yeah, why do you sound like a child?
Okay, thank you. I mean, that's a compliment.
Abu has the power of youth. Brenda has the power of transgenderism. There we go.
Astaghfirullah. But like, do you have a penis? Can you like?
No.
Yeah, you don't need to
Shut-
ask more questions like that, dude. Jesus Christ.
Huh.
I mean, as much as I appreciate globalists on globalist violence, we're not going to start identifying people and, you know, start breaking TOS with misgendering and shit.
So,
Well, I
what's your
don't
best-
even want to know the answer to that question, Cree. I don't know about you, mate, but
Yeah, we only
Like,
talk about
fairness.
people's reproductive organs. This isn't the channel. If you want to talk about reproductive organs, you go to like
Oh,
whatever channel.
you've got Nathan here. He's violated TOS multiple times.
Yeah, you have too, Brenda.
Never.
Should we hold you to that? Like, do you think people who violate TOS are banned and should never be unbanned?
Fuck, I should have hung out with y'all in 2012, dude.
Yeah, you've accused me of doxing. That is a TOS violation.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, you do not accuse people of crimes. If there's a crime being committed, you need to go to your local law enforcement. Accusing people of crimes is a TOS violation.
Or you can make an appeal to Amnesty International. They would help.
what's it called, Cree?
Just
Is it
send-
defamation? Is that the right word? When you badmouth
Defenestration?
somebody? Can't remember what the word
Defenestration,
is.
is that what you mean?
No, it wasn't that one.
No, just bearing false witness.
Defamation.
Yeah, that'll do.
Oh.
Defamation. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, that's what you're doing by accusing Cree.
Yeah, I've sued
So
for
Nathan's
defamation.
been forgiven.
go mess
His
around.
crime, haven't you?
I've taken
You go-
somebody to court for that, for defamation of character.
Yep, there's strict punishments for that, which is why it's against TOS.
Can we move on to arguments for or against
TOS?
gravity?
Who gives a shit?
Or
Sorry.
against
We do.
gravity. Hell yeah.
I'm Matt.
Brenda.
Yeah, go ahead, Brenda. Present when ready. The floor is yours.
The best argument.
Lloyd, welcome, mate. Good to see you, Lloyd.
The best argument currently is the final experiment, which showed that the Earth cannot be flat.
The flat Earth wasn't included in that experiment. They had a globe Earth model versus a globe Earth map. No flat Earth represented at all.
And measured it flat.
And even better, that was like coming on 2 years ago. So their final experiment didn't even convince themselves of that. The same people, this young Earth creationist avenue of the globe Earth model, mega church super pastor William Duffy, he's still unconvinced of his own experiment. So you wouldn't even need to use that one yet because he hasn't convinced himself. He hasn't shown his evidence. There was the documentary still in the wind. None of it's even been shown yet. And he still talks about flat Earth day in and day out. So he has yet to even convince himself of his own final experiment. That is telling. That's very telling.
Do you think that the Will Duffy thinks that the Earth is flat?
No, he thinks the Earth is a globe and it was created by God some 6,000 years ago. And he was incensed that somebody would think that his God could create a flat Earth. So what he decided to do was go conduct a social experiment that had nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It had everything to do with some kind of media presence, and then compared a globe Earth model versus a globe Earth map and then said this map doesn't work. This the EA or whatever the AE projection. This AE projection map, he said smack. This map has been debunked. So you ask him, sure. So what did you debunk? The math or the model used to make that map? And then he just, autistically screeches about how flat earthers are demonically possessed or some shit.
That's such a spot on analysis, Crit. Well done.
It's completely false. It's completely wrong.
That's bang on, mate. I'm sorry, that's bang on.
What was measured there?
One, it was falsified. You don't know what falsification is, Crit?
What was the measurement?
It was an observation.
No, they definitely made measurements.
It was a falsification.
Did none of you know what the measurements were? That's the only bit you left off. You said it was spot on analysis. You didn't actually list any of the measurements, though.
They performed several measurements, but it was a falsification. There were a number of things that they did.
Second time. What were the measurements?
They observed the sun at a time when it was not supposed to be there.
And what were the measurements?
What tools did they use? What tools did they use to take these measurements?
What were the measurements? You need a clue.
The standard deviation in the horizontal plane of about 25 degrees. Therefore, there is no horizontal plane.
Do any of you know what
Did they have to level these tools to take the measurements?
What measurements would those be, Jardo?
That would be elevation angle measurements from a horizontal plane, in which they used tools which they leveled to that horizontal plane to take those measurements.
Yeah, that's one measurement. Altitude. What was the other one? You got one. Altitude. That's right. A flat Earth measurement from a plane. What was the other one? Yeah, you got that. Altitude.
Turn right onto Old Sale Road.
The other one was the elevation angle to a particular item in the sun that they said that they were watching for 24 hours.
Yeah, we got that one already.
An elevation angle from the horizontal plane.
Yeah, that's one of them. You got that one. Do you know what the other one was?
That wasn't the test.
So we got one of the measurements. They definitely took more than one measurement.
Other one was 24 hours moving sun around that flat elevation.
Around?
The test was whether or not the sun would be above the horizon for 24 hours.
Yeah, we got that. Altitude. We got that. That's one. What's the other one? It's tied hand in hand with altitude. Do you guys not know? Considering you hold this in high praise, you'd think you'd know what they measured. I mean, bloody hell.
That would be the azimuth.
Azimuth. So we've got a flat Earth altitude angle from surface level and a flat Earth direction in the horizontal called azimuth. These are all flat Earth measurements. They measured Earth flat there.
They also measured the downward vector with respect to the horizontal plane.
That's correct. That's correct. They weighed stuff. They measured a downward vector perpendicular to a plane also. That's another flat Earth measurement that they measured with a scale, which they leveled. Measured a downward vector.
Nathan loves to beg the question. Nathan begs the question.
But
he doesn't even know what that means.
Why am I being accused of begging any questions? All I've done is list the measurements that they made. That's not begging any questions. They did measure altitude angles to the sun. They did measure azimuth with respect to the sun. They did measure downward vectors perpendicular to a plane. They did measure Earth flat there. Not me. I'm not begging any questions. I'm literally just detailing the measurements they, not I, made. It's not begging any questions. It's detailing measurements.
You presuppose that the Earth is flat.
I didn't do this at all. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. I haven't done any of these things. I asked you if you knew what you were appealing to when you said this was good. You didn't. You didn't give any of the answers. We did get to the answers of what was measured there eventually. It was like pulling teeth. But now you're telling me I'm begging some... No, I'm not doing anything. Listing off what was measured south, that's a horizontal direction. In where they were alleged to be, that's Antarctica, in the flat Earth direction of south, was measure flat Earth elevation angles from surface level and perpendicular downward vectors, that's perpendicular to a plane of reference, it's a flat Earth measurement of a downward vector, and azimuth, a horizontal only direction measurement for the sun. That's 3 flat Earth measurements. No begging the question. Altitude means from surface level it forms part of the angle. Azimuth is a horizontal degree from north. It's horizontal. Downward vector is ipso facto perpendicular to a plane. Now, that's not begging any questions. That's just literally detailing what they did actually measure if they were legitimately, I don't know, in Antarctica. But they were alleged to be there, and those are the measurements they took. Flat Earth measurements, every one of them.
They made globe Earth measurements.
We covered this yesterday. You had to lie about it, Brenda. When we covered it yesterday with Brenda, she had to lie when she said that we were inside Earth making angle measurements with respect to Polaris. The same measurement, an elevation angle measurement. But Brenda had to disclaim that that measurement was made, quote, inside of a ball. Now, she later lied and said that she didn't say that. I ripped her a new asshole for being a disingenuous liar, and she's spurging through me exposing her. No, she's a liar. She lied about what she said, and I got very angry with her for being a disingenuous, bull-believing liar after disclaiming that to make these angle measurements with respect to something that's suggested to be ball-shaped, you'd be on the equatorial plane inside a ball to measure these angles and azimuth degrees in the horizontal. If you describe it with respect to a ball, you're inside the ball on the equatorial plane with the degrees of latitude wrapped around you like a glorified protractor. Now, we are not inside a ball measuring anything. I did the same yesterday. Hands up who's inside a ball right now. Who's inside their globe to make these angle measurements work with the equatorial plane? Hands up who's inside a frickin' ball. That'll be nobody. But we do measure angles with respect to a plane. They measured them when they were alleged to be in Antarctica. That's what they measured.
All lies.
Okay. Okay, they didn't measure azimuth and altitude to the sun. On screen now, an elevation angle measurement to the sun. This is what they measured. Altitude angles to the sun for a 24-hour period. 24-hour also being a derivative flat Earth convention. That's a 4th measurement. If you're going to describe the convention of time with a 24-hour period also derived from a flat plane. Everything we ever measure from Earth's surface, longitude, latitude, elevation angles, elevation itself, surface level, sea level, eye level, flight level, direction, azimuth, every single one of these measurements are flat Earth only measurements. Don't have to like it, but that is what is being measured of Earth's surface in every instance. There is no exception. Earth's always measured flat.
Did they grab an apogee and a perigee? The ballet was down there too, Nathan, you think?
They measure apogee and perigee. I don't know. I didn't see that on the document that Toon waved at Brian. It was just azimuth and altitude as far as I could ascertain. But maybe, I don't know if they measured apogee and perigee. I don't know what extra they measured. They levelled their tools to a plane of reference and measured angles. They also measured azimuth. That's what I do know. Maybe you'll correct me. Maybe there's more flat Earth measurements. Maybe. I'm sure that they still go on. If it's an Earth measurement, it'll be flat, though. If you're going to suggest it works with a ball, it will be with respect to an equatorial plane inside a ball. That's the only way heliocentrism works, with you inside a ball. It's just no one's inside a ball. We're measuring from surface level, always.
Completely false.
Sorry, what
Brenda,
just a blanket,
let me jump
everything's
into it
false.
Nathan.
Sorry, let's
Brenda,
just establish what's false.
This is why people don't want to debate you. You're Trump. All you do is debate like Trump. Just lean into the microphone, wrong, false, wrong, personal attack, ad hom. That's all you do. Like, debating you is just as brain rot as watching a Trump debate.
Sure, but it's not false. Brenda was demonstrated a lie yesterday, categorically. She said 2 inconsistent statements. She said that we are measuring inside a ball, and then she said, and I quote, I did not say we are measuring inside a ball, which she did. It was recorded and broadcast live. She is a liar, saying false. No, that was demonstrated a fact
Completely
yesterday.
false.
Brenda is categorically a liar. There is absolutely no doubt it was demonstrated beyond all doubt. Not beyond all reasonable doubt, beyond every doubt or any doubt, she is a liar. That is fundamentally demonstrable easily with her own words yesterday. Statement 1, we are inside a ball measuring angles with the equatorial plane. Statement 2, I did not say we are inside a ball measuring angles. Those two statements make Brenda a liar.
That's false. That's false.
Fantastic rebuttal.
Yeah, we can measure from the center of the Earth without being
No,
at
we
the
can't.
center of the
No,
Earth.
we can't. Then we're not measuring it. We're not there.
You
We're not
know
measuring
how
it.
we can do it.
No, you're talking
You
about
know how
calculating.
we
You don't
can
know
do
the
it.
difference between calculating and measuring. You can calculate. You can't measure. Nobody's inside a ball measuring anything, ever. You're wrong.
A calculation is a measurement.
No, calculation's not measurements. You don't know that, you didn't know what linear meant.
I do know what linear means.
You don't know what calculations are. They're not measurements, they're calculations.
Every measurement is a calculation.
Wrong.
Yeah. if you
Meanwhile,
lay
we're not
down,
inside a ball. For elevation angles to work, as per this diagram on screen, they work with respect to a plane. Elevation angle measurements are planar. That was what was measured. They measured the angle to the sun in Antarctica if they were believed to be there. That's what they measured. Angles with respect to a plane. That is what was measured. Now, those weren't measured inside a ball. At no point did anybody go inside any balls to make these measurements. Where they work in a globe model is inside a ball on the equatorial plane. That's how they function if you believe the world is heliocentric. It's not on a ball. That is not how they function. That's why Brenda's talking about being able to calculate, not measure. To infer that we're in a ball, nobody's ever in a ball. And as Brenda's now confirmed, for this to function, that's the surface level angles measured from a flat Earth. For them to work heliocentric, you need to put them on a plane, that's the equatorial plane, in a ball. Nobody's inside a ball. It's ludicrous. And saying, I can calculate it. No, they took measurements. They levelled their tools and took angle measurements from a plane. They didn't make any calculations from the centre of hell. They took measurements of the sun, its angle and azimuth. Those were measurements, not calculations. They weren't inside a ball.
Every measurement is a calculation. You're just making a false dichotomy.
You win. Therefore, we're inside a ball. Every measurement's a calculation. Therefore, when they measured from the surface level angles, actually that's a measurement that's a calculation. Therefore, Brenda's right. We're actually inside a ball because we can calculate the measurements and they're actually measurements. That calculation of being in a ball means we're in a ball. Brenda wins. We are actually in a ball. I'm just mistaken. My bad. When I asked everybody how many people were in a ball, everybody agreed that we are definitely in a ball. Therefore, Brenda's calculation that is actually a measurement means we've calculated to be in a ball. So therefore, we're in a ball. That's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I don't claim that we're in a ball. We can simply know what that angle is.
From surface level. Yeah, we measured it from surface level.
Yeah, and level means curved.
No. Sound like Sloth in the Goonies. The globe is level. No, level and curved are very different things.
No, level means conforming to the curvature of the Earth.
It doesn't. You can say the globe is level because we measure Earth level. That doesn't mean that you've got a curve. For it to work in a globe, do you believe that your inner globe equatorial plane bends? No, it doesn't. It's a level plane. The equatorial plane has no bend to it for the angles we measure on the surface level. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I know I'm right, you dumb bitch. Shut up! I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're a liar. All you do is bullshit.
Equatorial.
Yeah, shut up.
No, the equatorial
Shut up!
plane,
You've told me that this bends. I know you're wrong.
Level.
You're wrong. It's not bent. We're not measuring a level bent surface. That's a contradiction in terms. For it to function, it's on a level, not bending, plane in a ball for you, a ball believer. You've then retorted with level means bent. Dumb bitch. Shut up. No, it does not. You're just a dickhead.
Bro, why are you so mad?
Complain about it.
Because I'm sick of dealing with lying bitches. That's why I'm so angry. I've already dealt with her yesterday, and she lied to me. Therefore, I find her repugnant. Everything about her is repugnant. Yeah? The way she behaves, the way she holds herself, her lies, her suggestions that planes bend. Double-speaking, lying bitch. That's why I'm angry. I hate bull-believing liars. And why would I tolerate them and not lose my temper with you when you lie? That's what happens when you lie. People get angry with you. Oh, it's a bent level. Level means conforming to the parts of a sphere. Oh, so the level plane inside a ball bends? No, you're right, Nathan. Yeah, I know I'm right. I also know this person's a liar.
The equatorial plane is perfectly flat and level.
So that level doesn't comport to a sphere, then, end quote you.
A level line conforms to the curvature of the Earth.
So the equatorial plane bends, then?
No, it doesn't.
No, so you're just talking shite, you double-speaking lying bitch. Shut up and sit down. I'm done talking to Brenda. Look, if it's a level plane, and according to her, the definition of level is that it bends to the sphere, then the level plane equatorial inside a ball that we're not standing on, when we measure Earth flat for these angles to work in a ball, then according to her lies, the level plane bends. Because level means bending. No, it doesn't. Not for anybody, not ever, and not in your globe. Your equatorial plane does not comport to a sphere. That's bollocks. Total shite. Nonsense. Lies. Garbage. You suggesting that a planar measurement actually bends is, and I'll say it a second time, like the guy from the Goonies. The globe is level. No, a globe would have parts lower than other parts. That means not level. But your equatorial plane can't simultaneously be a level plane if level means bending. So it's a contradiction in terms from a liar, a proven liar, to try and get around the fact that we've got flat Earth measurements that only function on a flat, level, not curving plane in a ball that we are not standing in. Simple. I'm sick of dealing with her. Don't like liars.
They're different senses of the same word.
No. Level means having no part higher or lower than another, like the equatorial plane. What's that? No, the equatorial plane's conforming to us. No, it isn't. Level means level. Except when we are measuring Earth level, then according to you, level means bent. That's your double-speak to get around the fact we're measuring Earth flat. When we measure Earth flat, you say, well, that flat level measurement means it's level and therefore bent. That's bollocks. Total bollocks. Double-speak. Nonsense. A violation of the law of non-contradiction. To be level, having no part higher or lower than another, means it's not bending. So when you say, with your lies, your deceit, your scummy, bull-believing nature, that level means comporting to a sphere, well, then the equatorial plane's comporting to a sphere. Oh, well, no. When I need it to be level and comport to the definition of what level means, then the equatorial plane's not comporting to a sphere. Yeah, it's just a violation of the law of non-contradiction when we take flat level measurements and you say they bend because they're flat measurements. It's bollocks. It's doublespeak. It's cope. Now stop lying to yourself. I'm sick of it.
It's not a contradiction. They're just different senses of the word.
No, the word is level. Context. Level isn't curved. It's not different senses. You've obviously failed to understand what the Socratic method is. Yeah, you want to violate laws of non-contradiction. Level, no part higher or lower than another, has other parts lower than other. No, it doesn't. It's not that somehow you're reading an interpretation that suddenly changes axiomatically when we're at the equatorial plane, because suddenly level does mean level. Yet level means level. It does not mean bending. To be bent means you're deviating from the level. So you need level to hold true. Not bend. It's bollocks.
A level line doesn't deviate, right, from its definition, which is conforming to the surface of the Earth.
I see.
It doesn't deviate.
I see. So the surface of the Earth is what the equatorial flat level plane comports to, then.
No, that's a different sense.
No. So sit down and shut up, you lying tosspot. You're just talking nonsense. She's just talking nonsense. If it's level, like the equatorial plane, then it's got no part higher or lower than the other. Oh, but if we're at the surface measuring level planes, then they bend. That's bollocks. It's doublespeak. It's a violation. Why am I having to say it? This is the fourth time I've said it. Why am I having to go through these things 4 times? Level doesn't mean bending. Meanwhile, Earth's
well, I
measured
don't
flat.
mean to interrupt, Nathan, but there was a guy who is now back in the channel, a guy called Knowledge, who quoted you and said that you had proven the Earth was a ball. So I'd like to invite Knowledge to step up because he was going at you earlier. So let's see if he's confident enough to bring this to you.
Howdy.
I was hoping.
Yep.
I was
Top
hoping
of the
we would
morning
get
to
to
you.
hear some of the last radii bender, but it just ain't going to happen. Is it?
Well, apparently there's a guy called Knowledge that wants to put something to me. Feel free. Oh.
Yeah, Knowledge, speak up, mate. You've been busy this morning. You've been making some claims. You have an issue with Nathan's measurement. So speak up, dude,
I don't have
please.
any measurement. I don't know how he's got an issue with the measurement. I haven't made any.
No, he's got a problem with the methodology of taking an angle measurement to a star and basically says that action itself proves that we live on a ball.
An angle? It's 2 straight lines.
Yeah, I know. It is ridiculous, which is why I'm really keen for him to speak up. It's just interesting how he's gone quiet now.
Okay. I mean, an elevation angle is an angle from surface level. It's 2 straight lines meeting at a vertex. If you're taking the angle, you are that vertex point. One line moves up to the star, if that's what you're talking about, the sun, moon, doesn't matter what. The other line runs along the ground. That's what elevation means, from the ground. So it's a from the ground straight line up to a star or celestial item, whatever it is you're measuring, in the vertical. But you're measuring in the vertical with respect to the horizontal. That's what an elevation angle is. A measurement from the horizontal in the vertical. So you need the horizontal plane the observer is standing on to measure this angle. It's just that simple.
Yeah, he's trying to strawman the flat Earth position into a map, and then he's trying to compare the globe to a map, and then he's making his claim. I mean, it's probably a 10-year-old argument, but he seems to think it's new.
I mean, maps are all flat. They have to be, or they don't work with azimuth. That's directions. So, for instance, if I'm going to travel south, that's horizontal degree from north. Flat. That's direction. So that's how maps work. If you're going to move around on a map, they've also got scales for the distances that you'll travel. They're flat, as per the measurements that surveyors took. Earth's measured flat for maps.
Can we just let him bend the measurements so we can have something to argue about?
Right, hopefully one of my mods in the YouTube live stream chat can post a link to politics. As much as I occasionally get punished, shall we say, in this server for my bad behaviour, that's partially tongue-in-cheek why I like this server. And again, I've been occasionally banned from this server for breaking their terms of service. Again, those rules apply to me, which is kind of why I like it in this particular server. It's one of my favourites. As much as I get I get punished when I'm bad in here and I moan about it like a drain. This is a very well moderated server, it has to be said. And I do behave badly occasionally and I get punished for it in here. So hopefully one of my YouTube mods can post a link to politics. It's an excellent server, in all sincerity. I'm not just saying that, it is genuinely a good server.
Well, I'm glad to hear there's no hard feelings, Nathan. You know, it's nothing personal.
Oh, there's
and
absolutely
I
hard
think it's the same
feelings.
on the other side.
I absolutely bleat and moan, and I'll blame you for it, Roots. If you subject me to those rules, I'll moan about it. I'll become a complete martyr.
I ain't gonna let him bend them measurements if he's mean to us.
Right, it's obvious that this knowledge guy isn't going to pipe up, so everyone else feel free. I don't mind if it's a quiet show. It's been a very strenuous week.
Was that the drunken guy speaking?
Yeah, I decided I'd get drunk. I've already been accused.
There's
of
an American guy called Knowledge.
Have you happened to heard of Schuler tuning, Nathan?
Oh dear.
Schuler tuning, yeah, it does sound familiar. Remind me what that is.
Well, it's a design principle for inertial navigation systems that accounts for the curvature of the Earth. That's the claim of the globe.
No, it
What
accounts for
curvature?
the rotation around a spherical coordinate system, which is not the curvature of the Earth, because Earth has no curvature.
But that's not included in the NTSB data, though, is it?
What, Schuler tuning? Why would that be included?
Well, because that would you'd have to discount that, wouldn't you? In the NTSB
What are
data,
you
you'd have to
talking about?
disprove that Schuler tuning is a fact.
Works there, big guy. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
We don't need pitch data.
Schuler tuning is
claimed to
also
be
paired to
included.
a preconceived reference ellipsoid because they use multiple radii, as WGS84 doesn't have only one radius. And they incorporate that, they bake it into the math, so that when the inertial navigation system shows your airplane or car or whatever it is on the GPS, that it snaps to the coordinate reference grid, no matter what it's actually doing in the real world. So this way, pilots and drivers can pretend that they're flying and driving around a ball when they look at the screen, even though they're not in reality.
So is that disproved in the NTSB data then?
What are you talking about?
But if Schuler tuning is claimed to be used, and it's not within the NTSB data, then how can you say
is that right? Did you look through it?
Well, I know that it's not included. Yeah, I know it's in the black box.
Did you know that for the flight in question that I know you're thinking about, that there's a 400 megabyte Excel file with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of columns of data? Did you actually go through all those?
Does it include the Schuler tuning?
I'm asking you because you claim it's not in there. I'm asking you if you've actually gone through the data. I'm not giving you shit.
Claiming that in.
So the answer would be no, you didn't go through there, which means you're probably making stuff up.
Yeah, one more time, Elder Bear. You have to be responsive. If you become unresponsive, you will not get a chance to talk here anymore. You have to be able to respond to what's being said to you.
Standing that Schuler tuning has not been.
May I go ahead and explain how Schuler tuning works? If an aircraft or
it's
ship
a mantra.
accelerates
It's just a
forwards,
nonstop
its
mantra.
internal gravity sensing pendulum would tilt backwards due to inertia, causing the system to miscalculate down.
Yeah, what's funny is Schuler tuning is a mathematical formula that's applied continuously at every instantaneous moment within an INS so that it can conform to spherical coordinate reference system. It's not a measurement. It's a calculation. So you've got an airplane, you've got a truck or whatever that's taking elevation and azimuthal angles in Euclidean reality. And the computer is applying this continuous mathematical update to turn it into a spherical coordinate system. That's all it's doing.
No, it is not. It is reorienting down when inertia puts out your tools for measuring that vector.
That's correct. It's also adjusting azimuth because they may not be going on a great circle route. You know what I mean? So you've got a lot of complications happening with this, right? Which aren't actually measured in reality. It's all computer math.
I think that's what he's saying. He's saying you're taking the data and then running it through a calculation system to convert azimuth, horizontal, and downward vector data, again planar in both instances, so that you can demonstrate it on a update screen to look like it's on a ball when it's presented to you visually via the calculation. But the calculations are derived from planar measurements.
Precisely.
No, it's a gyroscopic. It's a gyroscope used for when the downwards vector measuring tools are thrown out by inertia to correct them back to down.
I see.
That's what it does.
There's a reorientation if an instrument goes out of whack. So if you're in a tight turn or something, is that what you're saying it does?
Yeah. So how does that get in the
Converting
globe?
linear vectors to curvilinear.
Okay.
How can you differentiate between the zero baseline of the NTSB data to be exclusive to flat Earth?
Covered this 2 days ago. Like with pitch, you couldn't describe degrees with
I was
respect
talking
to
to Yoda,
anything
really. I
like that.
thought
Is he just
Yoda
going to
was
chat skank
talking
through the
about.
answer? Is he going to chat skank through the answer?
Okay, Elder Bear, real quick. The NTSB data does not show an adjustment of the horizontal plane of reference rotating in reality with respect to a globe. The data does not present that whatsoever. So why would I assume there's an actual globe in the first instance if there's no real data collected from actual measurements suggesting as such?
Well, what I'm thinking is that, and I'm not bringing the globe, I'm just looking at the comparisons. So on the globe, they have a zero baseline, a 0 degree baseline, even though that's be a curve. And if you represented that on a graph on an XY axis, the zero would be a straight line, wouldn't it?
I'll just do that again.
Yeah, that's right, because you're representing it on a flat axis. Yeah.
Master Yoda, no.
Okay.
That's incorrect.
Okay, so
that's incorrect. No. A zero has to be a plane, or you couldn't describe degrees of pitch with respect to it if it was curving. So your suggestion, we've already covered this with Eddebear 2 days ago. We went through this explicitly. There's a difference. If the zero is curving, then you'd need more than one axis to describe it on. To curve is to not be at zero. That's the antithesis of zero. He's saying, no, it would represent the same. That's flat. If it was curving, again, back to Sloth and the Goonies, the globe is level. Meanwhile, the pitch requires an axiomatic principle of perpendicularity so that you can describe the degree in the horizontal of the pitch of the plane with respect to a plane of reference that remains horizontal for you to describe the angle with respect to it. That's why. If it was curving, you couldn't have a degree for the pitch with respect to it. Now, again, a bit like Brenda, disingenuous, dishonest, lying bullshitters like this man will ignore that which has already previously been overcome to rinse and repeat with a different person. It can't be bending, that's not zero. To say zero, a straight line, is the same as a bend is again a violation of the law, a bit like Brenda saying, no, the surface that's flat that we're measuring with an angle is a level that bends. And Eddebear's now doing the same thing. Zero, that we're going to use to describe pitch with respect to, bends. No, if we haven't got a plane of reference to reference, we can't reference it. If it's bent, it's not a plane of reference. Simple.
Correct. He'll do the same thing tomorrow, too.
Just believe.
Yeah, so Nathan,
you're incorrect. That's all.
You were correct, but I had also agreed with you on this point. Elder Bear only brought up one axis, one dimension, and you're right. You cannot get curvature from that alone. Now, you could have a non-uniform scale on that axis in order to describe the rotation that exists in another dimension, but you can only confirm that if you have another measurement in another dimension in order to plot that against. When you ask me about one dimension and x-axis,
I just need to correct you.
Get
You're
curvature
wrong.
from that.
That's
You're
incorrect.
totally correct.
No, it's not. It does have that axis. Pitch, I just explained that. The other axis is pitch. It does have that axis. You said it didn't. You said it would be the same. You've essentially agreed with him. No, we do have that axis. It's called pitch.
You need more than one dimension. And Elder Bear was correct. Which he doesn't have that other dimension.
Oh my God, he's just ignored me a second time. Yeah, we do. It's called pitch. You're not hearing me.
That's what I've been pointing out.
We do have that extra axis. Fourth time I've said it. It's called pitch. Am I not coming through? Is this thing on?
Maybe they don't understand that 2 degrees above horizontal ain't horizontal.
Yes, that's 2 degrees in the vertical, like the other axis that I'm being told. Yeah, we do have that other axis. It's fundamentally and axiomatically tied to a horizontal plane. Are we done? Earth's measured flat with respect to a plane in the NTSB pitch data, specifically. Furthermore, we don't need pitch data, just have to understand how Earth measurements function. Altitude, that's height off sea level. and distance. Those are used when you fly, so you don't crash into mountains. From the surveyed, measured flat plane we know as sea level, mean sea level being measured, and the altitudes of everything ever being measured with respect to that sea level. All altitudes are perpendicular to a plane, as is the plane when in flight level. So we don't need this data. I mean, it's an added Brucey bonus, but we don't need it. We just have to understand how altitude works. Always. Again, if there's Earth measurements, they're always flat. There's never any exception. Planes are no different. Aeroplanes, that is. They fly with respect to a plane of reference. They measure their height from a plane of reference. Their altitude is parallel to a plane of reference. It's called flight level. Very self-explanatory, very basic, very easy to understand.
They also use Schuler tuning to adjust back to that plane of reference after inertia throws their tools off.
So in conclusion, Earth is measured flat for aviation. Altitude, distance, elevation angles, descent paths, distances, azimuth, directionality, pitch, roll, every single aspect is with respect to a plane. Earth's measured flat for aviation. Earth's flat.
That's correct.
Earth's flat. That's how it's being measured in this particular instance. So the demonstration...
In every instance.
Yes, every measurement is with respect to a plane. Earth is measured flat.
Even Schuler tuning. Dang.
Well, how big is it then? Give me the dimensions, Mr. Oakley.
Shout out to Sensual Goat. He says, today's Friday via the Super Chat. Thank you very much, Sensual Goat, for the Super Chat.
I thought we don't like saying what day it is.
Well, if it's in a Super
It's
Chat...
funny when I say 2 degrees, I'm not implying a size, am I?
No. Nathan says it's measured flat, so that means we need to know the size of this Earth.
Flat's not a size. Flat's an aspect.
Oh, dear.
Not a shape either. The
Oh,
category
dearie dear.
There's a comparison. So when you derive sphericity, like suggesting that you've got a protractor wrapped around you when you're inside a globe Earth, like we discussed in the pre-show, well, that derivative measurement comes from a plane. But it doesn't give you size. It gives you an aspect to measure, to give you a degree to wrap a ball around you.
Yeah, I mean, the Earth is round. You can tell.
What's
Thanks for the bottle.
Well, what's your measurement? If you say it's round, I mean, round doesn't necessarily...
I don't measure. I'm just sentient. I look at the horizon. I look off mountains. I look in plains. I look at a moon. I say, oh, that's round.
Okay, that's lovely.
I see rocks. Rocks are round.
That's lovely.
Basketballs are round.
Okay, but Earth's measured flat. Rocks might be round and the moon might be round.
But if you know how gravity works, then you know that gravity becomes spherical. Like, that's pretty easy.
It's incorrect.
No, it's correct. It's literally how planets form.
Planets are an invention of the Roman Catholic Church for something called
it's not
retrograde motion. Yeah, elliptical orbital motion gives you something called planetary retrograde motion. It's derivative of the Roman Catholic Church. They also measured Earth flat for that.
I'm not speaking about
My bad. Sorry, I'm really sorry. The middle of my sentence interrupted the start of yours. My bad. You go ahead. Tell me how.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's not Roman Catholic science.
Okay, who derived orbital motion? Go.
I'm basing mine off of NASA's Start of the Cosmos.
NASA didn't invent orbital motion. You're just ignorant.
No, but NASA has a whole article on the start of the cosmos and how planets form.
That's really interesting. That's not where this came from.
You could understand it if you read it.
Yeah, who are they citing, dude? Who's their source?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going back to who? Primary source.
Okay,
can you provide the link?
Meanwhile, the suggestion here is that we've got a gravity. Gravity is a downward vector perpendicular to a plane.
Does it affect vertical? movement?
It relies on Earth being measured flat. It's a downward vector.
Does it affect vertical movement? Does gravity affect upward movement?
Upward is also a planar measurement. Upward is perpendicular to a flat Earth. It's planar measurement.
You're not answering. Does it affect vertical movement if I go up?
Up is perpendicular to a plane. You're giving me flat Earth measurements.
Hold on. Does it affect if I go left or right?
Left or right?
What is it?
Left or right are planar measurements.
Okay, so what if I go diagonally upright?
Oh my God, how's this relevant to anything?
It isn't. Meanwhile, gravity is downward vectors perpendicular to a plane if you're talking about Newtonian gravity.
So the issue that you have is any direction that you're going to go in is affected by gravity in your worldview. Okay, so you have to yield, you have to concede to the fact that gravity is a force, that it doesn't matter what direction you go in. Now, there might be a downward, if your argument is there's a natural downward pull, that's okay. You can have that argument, but that wouldn't be substantiating of a flat Earth. In fact, the shape of the planet would have nothing to do in your worldview with gravity. To you, gravity wouldn't even be based on a sphere or mass or anything like that.
No, it's based on a plane. A downward orientation.
No, well, it's not
Can I
based on
just
a plane,
get this
because
sentence out
gravity's
without
not
being
based on
immediately
planes.
interrupted?
Gravity's
Being wrong
based
doesn't
on
mean you
mass.
get to immediately interrupt the start of my sentence when I reply to you.
I'm just saying
I listen
gravity's
to you.
based on mass.
Now
It's
I'm
not
not
based
hearing
on
anything
planes.
other than my opponent's voice through the top of my reply. What a shock. So, I'll repeat it. You said it has nothing to do with the surface and has everything to do with the globe. That is incorrect. I'm still hearing my opponent's voice. I've attempted to make the sentence third time.
I said mass.
Third time.
Mass.
Third time.
Mass.
I haven't responded to
word
you
right.
yet. I'm still being interrupted now. It's just chanting one word through the top of me. I haven't made a reply yet. Is there any chance the moderation team
can you
can
stop
step in?
talking before I mute you? I'm trying to understand Nathan's response to you, and you're not letting him
I love you
respond.
both, but you have to use the right word.
Yeah, I don't have to use any words that you tell me. I'll just use the words I'll choose to rather than the ones you insist on while you talk through me. To be perpendicular to a plane for a downward orientation, you suggest is always in effect. I'm just looking up at a few clouds, by the way. They're not going down. Meanwhile, down is an orientation. It's a vertical orientation. Verticality being axiomatically tied at the hip to horizontality. You can't be up or down for a vector you're leaning into diagonally when you suggest we have a force that was superseded in 1915.
Hey Nathan.
Oh my
Nathan,
God, I'm
are
still not
clouds-
getting to the end of this sentence. There's just spurgy, globe-believing zealots chanting through my reply. I've attempted to make this reply 5 times so far. I'll keep counting them off. I'll try again. Down is an orientation perpendicular to a plane. It cannot be described with respect to anything other than a flat Earth. It's an orientation with respect to Earth. If you describe something dropping, looks up at clouds, recognizes that gas disperses in all directions, highlights that this was superseded in 1915 and that gravity is, quote, not a force, George Musa, Scientific American, and that there, quote, isn't really a force of gravity at all, end quote, Professor Brian Cox. No, this man talking to me is a moron, ignorant of his own claim that there's a downward force, down being a flat Earth only vector perpendicular to a plane, that if you're suggesting there's a force of down, it's debunked by clouds and isn't current heliocentric pseudo-Riemannian rhetoric. It's out-of-date Newtonian forces that aren't in effect anymore as of 1915. You're just ignorant. No, there is no force of down. We've got clouds. Somebody's got their mic open while I'm in the middle of talking so I can hear an echo from some arsehole who's decided to open his mic in the middle of me talking about how down isn't a global measurement, it's a flat Earth prerequisite. If we suggest things travel down, they don't. We've got
clouds are affected by gravity, though.
Is this guy honestly getting dumber? What's the deal?
I think so. He doesn't understand the difference between down and inward. Hey, did you know
how many
that
people we're
down may
talking
not
to?
be inward?
Talking to how many people at once?
No, I think it's great. I mean, you were talking about clouds for 1 second, but I think you failed to realize they're affected by gravity.
Oh, so gas go down, go boom, boom, go splash,
I think
splash.
they're floating. I think their floating has really fucked you up.
Can I not be swore at, please? Is there any chance I can stop this
Well,
conversation?
I'm not swearing at you. It was a figure of speech. I think it's just got you messed up. Like, I don't think you get it.
All right, okay. I think you're a fucking retard because you don't understand that that's clouds, aren't going down with a vector, with a force that's pulling them.
They do go down.
They're not going down, you fucking idiot.
They are pulled down.
No,
they're
fucking
pulled down
idiot,
by
they're
gravity.
not.
That's why we have them. That's
No,
why we have
clouds aren't
them,
going
monkey.
down. No, you're just
That's
wrong.
why you have clouds, monkey.
Excuse me, can we stop calling people monkeys, Shinobi?
No,
I'll just
you're a
remove
monkey
you.
too, you ape,
All right.
primate. Be quiet.
He's telling the mod to be quiet.
Like,
Sorry, hold on 2 seconds, Chris.
Okay.
You're not in control of this conversation. Stop calling people monkey. I'll give you one last chance.
But
Yeah,
meanwhile,
dude, clouds are affected by gravity. That's why you have them.
okay, if I
Good job, guys.
accept his proposition that was superseded in 1915 by Einsteinian, pseudo-Riemannian bent space-time geometry, that we have a downward vector force, if I accept that, in spite of it being fundamentally incorrect, then number one, I would have to accept that we have puddles of gas. We don't. And number two, it's a downward vector that's perpendicular to a plane. As a measurement, it's a flat Earth measurement of a vector perpendicular to a plane. Next. Earth's measured flat for gravity.
Plane? What type of plane? How do you know it's not diagonal?
Because it's... Do you not know what perpendicular means?
Know.
Do you not know what...
You wouldn't know the difference.
I'm answering him and he's still talking and telling me what I don't know.
But
I heard your question and now he's still talking. Can the server moderators, can you take charge? He's put something to me. Now he's carrying on waffling. I've heard his question and now he's just impeding the answer by continuing to talk after asking something. How would I know if it's horizontal? Because you're describing an upward vector. That directionality that's up is axiomatically tied to the horizontal. It's called perpendicularity. To have a downward vector that is tied at the hip to the horizontal. You're describing a vertical vector. So how do I know that vertical's axiomatically tied to the horizontal? The question should be, why are you so stupid given that you're claiming this downward vector?
Shut your bitch ass up.
Yeah, it's painful having me here, I understand. Share your pain.
Well, no, but you didn't understand what I was telling you. You wouldn't know the difference if it was horizontal. You wouldn't know if it was a vertical plane.
Sorry to interrupt.
You wouldn't know anything because it operates
He
in
just
space.
ignored you,
still
Nathan.
see that space
Sorry
is a
to
real
interrupt.
thing. So the only relativity
sorry.
that you have, the only relativity that you have is you standing on said plane, right?
Excuse
But
me.
the problem is that you don't solve the matter of gravity. That's what I was.
No, the problem is you don't solve the matter of lack of
Clouds are
curvature.
affected by gravity. But the reason
Excuse me,
why
sir.
you have an atmosphere and a stratosphere and all
Excuse
these
me,
other
sir. Do you know what 90 degrees is?
because of a sphere. That's
Excuse
why you
me.
have these things.
No, excuse
That's why
me.
clouds,
Do you know?
clouds are here. If we didn't have
Excuse
gravity,
me.
there would be no
Please
gases.
stop talking.
Nathan.
Do you know what 90 degrees is?
But Nathan, if we didn't have gravity, there would
excuse
not be
me.
gas. I'm not debating you. You're a monkey.
All right, bye then. I told you not to call people monkeys, treat people with respect. You lost that right. You'll probably be on mute for 5 minutes and somebody will gladly unmute you. If you've calmed down, if you haven't, you'll be removed.
It is painful and I can empathise.
Is it an east bearing?
East is a flat earth directionality.
Oh, here's the other one.
That's fine. Free platform. Whoever wants to talk is up to the moderation team. You okay, Eleanor? Yes. East's flat earth direction. It's a degree in the horizontal. From north. Second time I've answered this. East, you say, Bev. That's a flat earth direction. Third time.
I was answering Jedi with his 90 degrees.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, well, excellent. I'll just take the opportunity to point out that azimuthal directionality, in this case east, is flat. It's only flat. You can only describe east with respect to north in the horizontal. It's a horizontal directionality we measure on Earth. That's east. South. That's north. That's west. They're all horizontal. Called azimuth. It's a flat Earth measurement. Same one they made in Antarctica. Allegedly.
There's Shinobi. Is there any like idea or opinion you have that is in the minority? I mean, anything at all.
Who are you asking?
Like, is the Shinobi guy still here? Or did he leave? Okay. If he left, never mind. I've heard him debate in other channels, and he seems to always take the 51+% position on anything. Any topic, he's always whatever the 51% is.
What are you on about, Crit? What are you saying?
Is there anything?
You guys are the 10%. You guys are the flat earthers. You're like the 10%.
Yeah, I'm saying, so is there any position that you take that's in the 10%? Anything at all?
Yeah, I don't think gender is a real thing.
Not for this platform. That's not what this discussion's about. This is the 24/7 Flat Earth room.
Yeah, I just was asking him in general if there's one thing that he was, because I've heard him. He's like this really hardline right-wing Christian conservative, a William Duffy-esque character, and he's just really incensed by anyone.
More of an F.A. Hayek.
He's really incensed by anyone who disagrees with God and country.
No, not really. I would say that was a mischaracterization. I don't vote. I mean, does that help you out? I think voting is stupid.
Okay. Do you know what 90 degrees is or perpendicular? Do you know these things or not?
I'm not engaging in that monkey talk.
Why would you?
We're trying to help you understand that when you drop something.
That's all monkey talk. Like when you say downward vector, you have a dishonest take on gravity. So when you're saying downward vector, like you're only basing that off of...
Excellent, little man. Define gravity for everyone so we can all point and laugh at you.
You're only basing downward...
I forgot to mention, I'm a pain in the ass when it comes to the mute button. You can define gravity for everyone so we can all point and laugh, or I can just yeet ya. I don't care either way. I'm not going to lose any sleep.
Yeah, here, let me try something real quick.
I'm trying to explain to you why your view of gravity has really, like...
Shinobi, take a breath for a second. Brenda here, I want to, if Brenda's available to talk. I want to test a theory.
Why?
You rang?
Yeah. So, like you said that, like, flat Earth is like 0.01%, right?
Yeah, it's only a few people on the internet.
Okay, certainly. And if you were to define someone as who's not a flat earther as a flat earther, would that increase or decrease the number of flat earthers?
If I define somebody who's not a flat earther as a flat earther, that would increase the number.
Okay, so let's test this here. Elder Bear, are you a flat earther? Did he go AFK? Well, how about this? Is Brenda Bear or Brenda debates? Is Elder Bear a flat earther?
I suspect he's a Bevite.
Which is not a flat earther or a flat earther?
Bev and possibly Elder Bear like to equivocate on the meaning of flat.
Okay, so are they flat earthers or not flat earthers?
Bev is on record of saying that the Earth is flat. I'm not sure if Elder Bear has ever been on record on what he believes. It seems like he would believe the same as Bev, but I'm not sure. Right? Because Bev claims that because there's hills and valleys, that therefore the Earth isn't flat. But that's just to equivocate on the meaning of flat.
Is that true or false, though? Would a hill or a valley be flat or not flat?
That's just an equivocation.
I mean, if you were to describe it, you see a hill in front of you. Is that hill flat or is that hill not flat?
You're equivocating over the meaning of flat.
No, just answer the question. Like, seriously, is a hill flat?
Hills aren't flat.
Well, there you go.
There I go. What?
So you know that if there's a hill that's not flat, that would be a curve.
That doesn't mean that the Earth is either curved or flat. The presence of topography doesn't have anything to say about the overall shape of the Earth.
It does. It's measuring
A flat Earth could have hills and valleys too. So does the globe. So it's not a defining feature.
You'd have to rely on the measurements. You'd have to rely on the measurements.
How about, is Florida flat? Is the state of Florida, is that flat?
Did you understand what I said, Crit?
Yeah, I'm trying to explore it now. So is the state of Florida, is that flat?
No, it would be.
How about Kansas? Is Kansas
is also not flat?
Is a pancake flat?
Hold on. Why?
Why what?
Yeah, why is Florida, for example, not flat? You said it wasn't. Why is it not?
Because the state of Florida would conform to the curvature of the Earth, even though it has hills and valleys.
We have the
Same with
measurement.
Kansas.
What's the measurement for that, please?
Right. What Crit is getting at is a study in the Ig Nobel Prize that showed that Kansas is flatter than a pancake, but they meant in the former sense and not the latter sense.
It's measured flat, like everywhere. If you're going to describe how much topographical deviation there is in the vertical, you first have to measure Earth in the horizontal for linear distance. That's Euclidean straight line distance, as per surveys. All surveys, 4 miles, measure Earth, linear, horizontal, and flat, to derive any deviation from that flat distance width. So if you're going to say how flat Florida is, you're describing how much relief, if you're talking about how much rain will dribble off the surface, or hills and valleys, that's verticality derived from the horizontal linear distance that Earth is surveyed with. So in terms of Earth's measurements, Earth's been measured flat with horizontal linear distance, so we can say how topographically flat somewhere like Florida is. The topographical flatness is derived from the horizontal linear distance measurements. So as an overall surface, we measure Earth as a plane and then describe deviations from that plane with a master reference called sea level. That sea level gives us topographical deviations, that's altitude measurements in the vertical. Again, axiomatically tying the vertical deviation to the horizontal, linear, surveyed, measured flat distance Earth is measured with. Earth is measured flat in horizontal distance. Any deviation will be in the vertical.
Why do ships come up over the horizon then?
Up is with respect to a plane of reference.
No.
Yeah, but
up is not with respect to a plane of reference.
Yeah, that's what up is.
Up
is a vertical vector with respect to a plane of reference. Brenda's just wrong.
No, it's from the center of the Earth.
No, nobody's ever made a measurement from the center of Earth. No altitude is ever described from the center of Earth. All measurements are described from sea level. Again, Brenda's just wrong. Spurging a suggestion that we have measurements of altitude that are anything other than from sea level is inaccurate, incorrect, wrong, a lie, deceit. We've already proven Brenda's a liar. She's lying now. No, there is no altitude. There is no altitude from anything other than sea level. Brenda's wrong.
Yeah, altitude is measured from sea level.
Right, so not from the centre of Earth. Can you shut her up, please? Moderators, can you shut her up? She's just lied. She said that the measurements were from the centre of Earth. That's a complete lie. No, they are not. She's just affirmed how wrong she is. I'd prefer she wasn't involved with her deceitful nature in this conversation when she spurgs out suggestions that are lies about measurements of altitude not being, as I've carefully and concisely iterated to this panel, about how sea level measurements give us altitude with respect to a zero datum that's measured. That's how it is measured, and all altitudes are with respect to it. She lied and said they were from the centre of Earth. That's wrong and a lie. Incorrect.
Sorry about this. I've just jumped in. Is this yesterday's show? I've just joined.
What my panel's now pointing out is that we've already dealt with this liar once, yesterday, and she's rinsing and repeating that which she's been exposed as lying about already. Very irritating, deceitful, disingenuous, scumbag behaviour. Sick of it. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat from sea level. That's how topographical deviations are described with respect to a plane of reference. Every altitude ever measured on Earth's surface is with respect to a plane of reference, also measured, called sea level.
Well, here's the thing, is when I was in the Navy, I worked on advanced warfare systems, and we had to go with the round Earth theory because our Actually, I can't even say too much about that. But what I will say is that our instruments required that we still went with the round Earth theory, and the fact that because like things that are flying really can't get detected by radar because of the curvature of the Earth.
What measurements were there of the quote curvature of the Earth? What was measured for that, please?
Well, generally when the radar signals are going out, they're generally straight, then they're flat. And
Yes,
if it
that's
was
correct.
a flat Earth, I'd be able to detect something from, like one side of the ocean to the other, and that's just not.
No, you've never heard of radar diffraction, and you claim to be a technician?
Just one sec, sorry.
Yes,
Just let him
I know
finish.
about radar diffraction.
Sorry, just let him finish. Sorry, you were saying that you could see from one end to the other. Would that be a distance that you're suggesting we wouldn't be able to see things with the radar?
Yes, it wouldn't be a certain amount of mileage over the surface of the ocean based upon the height of the radar.
If I may, the height of the radar is a perpendicular planar measurement from surface level or sea level. Altitude's a flat Earth measurement. The distance that you're inferring, this flat system that you've already disclaimed, so I don't have to go through that. Yes, it's absolutely a flat system, is described by you with a distance. That distance is measured and surveyed linear, horizontal. So you're appealing to a flat Earth measured... Try again without the interruption, hopefully. You're appealing to a flat Earth perpendicular measurement of altitude from the surface level or sea level, and a flat Earth linear measured mile or kilometre distance in the horizontal. So you're appealing to flat Earth measurements. My question, though, I put to you was, what are the globe measurements that you appeal to? Not the flat Earth. I still haven't finished. I still haven't finished.
Oh my God.
The start of your sentence isn't going to interrupt the middle of mine, my friend. That just makes you a wanker.
Because
I'm
you
still
keep talking.
Moderator, do you mind if I actually address
this?
this guy? We heard him talking about his radar and saying that he couldn't quite tell us. He was very hush-hush about it. Total bollocks that I've listened to. I didn't spurg through him. Now I'm still being interrupted. I'm still being interrupted, moderation team. I'm still not getting to the end of my point. Now he's just causing audio chaos. Now we've got audio chaos before the conclusion of my point.
Because you won't stop.
Yeah, no, the moderation team aren't going to do anything. They're just going to allow the distance to be built up between me making the point that he's wrong because he's appealed to horizontal, linear. So I'm not getting my conclusion, moderators. It's pointless me being here if I can't conclude my point, and they just spurg through their pain through the top of the conclusion each time. I heard him. I didn't say a bleeding word through the top of him. Spurg pain from baller dickheads who can't quite cope with their own use of flat measurements. In this case, very specifically, altitude from sea level. That's a perpendicular upward vector, vertical. Vertical being tied axiomatically at the hip to a plane of reference to be vertical with respect to, in an altitude that's also linear. Also appealed to by this man was the distance, measured flat in the horizontal. As detailed earlier, it cannot be anything other than a horizontal linear distance, or you couldn't derive drop in the vertical with respect to the horizontal distance we measure. That's surveying. So if there's drop, like curve, like earth curve, like hills, that's a vertical deviation from the horizontal linear mile measurements, which you have appealed to. So in conclusion, you are appealing to flat Earth measurements of linear distance and altitude perpendicular to a plane to suggest you have spherical measurements. I asked you what, quote you, globe measurements you had made, and you've offered me flat Earth measurements. Earth's measured flat with the measurements you've offered, sir. In conclusion, to make your point about the flat radar that's being used from the perpendicular flat Earth prerequisite altitude that you've used, you'll describe a flat Earth linear distance measurement. Earth's measured flat in every single respect of radar.
The gentleman left as soon as he was
I thought it
moderated.
quite amusing. I thought it was quite amusing that my presence was required when somebody wanted to do a little comedy skit with Brenda. That was amusing.
Comedy skit? Did I miss that?
Okay, period. How
If
about
I didn't arrive,
my Eratosthenes experiment so I can prove to you that the Earth was curving?
Do you want to lay it out for us, my love? Go ahead. Tell us how flat Eratosthenes measured Earth.
No, I'm talking about my experiment that I did by myself, period. So we gonna grab an apple, period. Ooh, wait, I don't have apple. So I think I still got that picture though. Hold on, let me go look for that picture of the apple.
Yeah, Eratosthenes measured Earth flat. He's measuring elevation angles. That's altitude angles.
Nah, he doesn't say curve. That's where we got it from.
I thought you were going away to get something, which is why I started talking. I didn't think that we have to hold the silence until you started talking again. I'll just try that once more. When I'm done, you can respond to me. Eratosthenes is measuring altitude angles from surface level with a stick. Measuring angles. The angles require Earth be a planar, horizontal surface to derive the angle from. I'll say it a third time. Eratosthenes is measuring Earth flat with angles.
And distance.
Yeah, and distance.
But it was measure curved, so.
You want to talk us through the flat Earth elevation angles you'll be using for this so-called experiment? When you get to the flat Earth elevation angles that you're measuring, I will be compelled to interrupt you by laughing profusely at your flat Earth measurement you'll appeal to. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Just for my audience's benefit. Sorry, just for my audience's benefit, I've got an elevation angle that Eratosthenes would have used with respect to a flat plane on screen for my live audience, so that when you start detailing the angle and the degree, that will be the flat Earth measurement of angle, elevation angle to the sun that Eratosthenes measured off a flat plane. When you get to it, it's already diagrammatically example for my audience, my dear. Go ahead, tell us all about this angle acquisition from a flat plane. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like, that's what they call it. It's not actually like that angle shit, whatever you're talking about. Basically, I'm telling you, I'm showing you an experiment that the Earth is way too big to see the curve by demonstrating you with an apple and two sticks. That's basically my experiment, period.
Will you be measuring an angle with the two sticks?
No!
Well, talk us through it then.
That's what I did already. It's pretty simple to understand. I get an apple, I put two sticks on the side, and you can't see the curve because it's really that big. And the apple is supposed to demonstrate the Earth.
Sorry, that's called a false equivalence fallacy. We're not living on an apple.
Is it?
Yeah, yes, it is.
How?
We're not living on an apple.
Okay, but the apple's supposed to demonstrate the Earth.
So a false equivalence fallacy. So you say
no, not really.
I'm still talking. I'm responding to your dumbass assertion that the apple is equivalent to the globe Earth. You've automatically assumed it's the shape of the apple. That is a false equivalence and begging the question fallacy. Begging the question is circular reason. Can someone shut her up while I take apart her garbage? I don't want a chat skanking through me, right? This isn't a nail salon. This isn't where you get to talk through the person painting your nails, my love. I'm just going to tear you a new one. Tear a strip off you for your idiocy. Now, if you feel compelled to talk through me, you'll be shut up by someone else. Well, I tell you that it's a circular reasoning proposition. If you say, I know Earth's a ball because I assume Earth's the same shape as this apple. So you're automatically assuming your outcome by false equivalence. So the equivalence being Earth's the same as the apple. Therefore, automatically assuming Earth is apple-shaped. Circular reasoning, false equivalence. You're using two fallacies. Meanwhile, Eratosthenes, end quote you, measured Earth flat with angles, with the stick and a shadow. That's what he measured. Distance is flat. The angle, measured is flat. He's measuring our flat Earth. False equivalence and circular reasoning won't cut it, my love. But nice try.
Period, Queen. But like I was saying, that's how you do experiments. Like, how do you think, like, Eratosthenes came up with it with the globe? Like, he was testing it to see if it was flat. He had an idea if it was a flat or a globe. Duh, that's how you do test.
Can you define what an experiment is? Because I suggest that you don't know what science or the scientific method actually is.
Maybe something like you practice, you know. I don't know.
You go, girl. You tell me what an experiment is, girl. Just define it for me, girl.
Let me go ask my chat.
Can you tell me what kind of Starbucks you got earlier? Did you get that caramel
I don't drink
latte?
I drink caramel frappes.
As much as it's interesting. Sorry, this latte order can stop. Please, can we stop the latte order? We're in a discussion forum about the nature of Earth. Please, can we stop with this? My question that I asked you was, do you know what an experiment is? Can you define it? You said this was an experiment. It's not. It's a flat Earth angle measurement. Yes. But can you define what an experiment is? If not, I will.
Let me ChatGPT for you.
Can you define
Actually, let me go out.
Can you define what an experiment is? You've used that word. What is an experiment? End quote.
And
you.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get my AI to explain to you what an experiment is.
No,
Because
thank you.
I have an idea, but I just
No,
don't know
thanks.
like the
No.
proper definition.
It's okay. Is it okay if we don't listen to this woman now Google searching on a live show? Is that possible? I'd like to define what an experiment is.
Meet Nathan. This is just delicious.
An experiment is the assertion of cause and effect based on an observed natural phenomena put through a scientific prediction known as a hypothesis, which is an if and then statement mirrored with a null. If this, then that. That being the observed natural phenomena, if being your presumed cause. The variation of the presumed cause is an experiment. It will either confirm the alternative hypothesis, which is the if and then statement, a suppositional causal influence or relationship, or validate the null, which is a zero difference result. Upon variation of your presumed cause of the effect, that's an experiment, you will either validate or invalidate your presumed cause of the natural phenomena. That is an experiment. What Aristophanes did was measure angles off a flat earth. That's not an experiment. This woman doesn't know what an experiment is. She's used a word, and then after using it in total ignorance of what it means, she suggested that she can go and ask AI what the words she's using mean. That's just totally stupid. That's the idiot in you trying to sound smart when you use words like experiment and you don't know what the words that are coming out your own mouth mean, my dear. Don't use words you don't understand and then later. I'm still berating you, my love, for being an idiot. This is me berating you, chastising you, calling you stupid.
Really don't
I'm calling you
care.
stupid and I prefer you
You're
just sit
fired.
down and tolerate it rather than spurg through me tearing a strip off you for your own idiocy. You've used a word that you do not know.
Okay. Hey, Eppo, can you give us an example of an experiment when you go shopping at Target or Kohl's?
Target's pretty good, but I don't shop there like that for real. For food, I shop at Costco.
Meanwhile, she doesn't know what an experiment is. She had to go and ask AI what the words
just
she was
told
using.
you I had an
Oh my
idea
God!
of what
Now
an
because she's
experiment is. You
stupid,
have an
she's having to
idea of
spurg
every
through
word.
me.
Just
Can we
because
shut her
you
up?
don't know the word
Can we
doesn't,
shut her up?
I'm so confused.
Can we shut her
You
up,
can put two
please?
and
Can we
two
shut her
together
up?
to
She's the
understand
dumbest
what the word
person here.
means. I
We
have
can
an
still
idea
hear
of what
her.
the word means.
She's the dumbest person here. She has to go to AI for her answers.
Oh my God. Okay.
Shut up.
I'm so
Shut
dumb.
up.
We all know this.
Moderators, my God,
I'm dumb.
she's just causing audio chaos because she's been demonstrated an idiot. That doesn't mean she gets to hold the mic because she's an idiot. It means I will tear a strip off her. Do not use words you don't know the meaning of, you dumb broad. You stupid girl. You used a word that you didn't know what it meant. Experiment, end quote you. And then after I asked you what it meant, you said you'd go after the fact and look it up. You stupid woman. Sit down and shut up.
Bring Brenda back.
Do you ever use ChatGPT as a personal shopper?
Stupid woman. Like I say, this is not your nail salon where you get to tell the woman doing your nails what to do and talk through her while she paints your bleeding nails. You dumbass. Yeah, so can the men continue to talk now with that stupid woman who doesn't know the words coming out of her own mouth? Can we continue without the stupid woman interjecting about an experiment? What's that? Oh, I don't know. I'll look it up, I guess. Why the hell are you using words that you don't know the meaning of? You just want me to tell you off and call you stupid? Is that what you want? Just want chastising? Bit of a masochist, right, love? Don't pretend to be smart. You'll get caught out here very quickly. Next. Or in conclusion, Aristophanes measured Earth flat with altitude angles. That's sticks and shadows. The angles he measured were from a flat Earth. The globe and its origin story, whether or not it's true, there's no primary source information for this bullshit story, but whether or not it's true, it fundamentally relies on measuring Earth flat with angles.
I think that Al Baruni did the same thing as well.
It helps in Crit's research. Elder Bear says the Earth is measurably, observably, self-evidently not flat. That's my position.
Other than when we measure linear distances to derive how not flat the topography of the world is, that would require we measure Earth flat for linear distance in the horizontal, as per all surveys and all map scales.
Did that evidence well, didn't you, bro?
Earth is measured flat for the linear scales on maps.
So far on my journey in research of flat Earth, where I thought, that if you were to become the best flat earther you could be, you'd need to point out the weak arguments. So I tend to do that. And I haven't yet been convinced by a flat earther yet that the Earth's been measured flat, or the Earth is indeed flat. I've had nobody yet who has convinced me personally.
All right, Eratosthenes, were you deaf? We just went through this like 25 seconds ago. He's measuring altitude angles. On screen now is the demonstration of a flat planar acquisition of an altitude angle, otherwise known as an elevation angle, as per Eratosthenes' flat Earth measurements that he measured Earth flat with. So, as much as Edibear, a faceless nobody on some Discord server, hasn't had his standards met, Earth is just being measured flat by everybody always and without exception. One example would be some broad suggestion that we've got an experiment, end quote her, that she doesn't know the meaning of, when in fact he's just measuring altitude angles. Off a plane, that's what altitude angles are. It's Eratosthenes in the brief history of 2,000 years of measuring Earth flat with altitude angles, sticks and shadows. So if that doesn't meet your standard, Edibear, nobody cares. I don't think anybody even asked.
Point of that for me is that the tools that establish a horizontal reference are not sentient.
Oh, the stick's not sentient. No, but people can measure angles from a stick. It's very easy. It's part of the globe Earth rhetoric. Like Eratosthenes, again, it's just was gone through twice. It's literally in the last 15 seconds. Tell me again that it doesn't meet your standard, and I'll go, who are you? Who cares?
You go to the globe for your measurements, and you don't have any flat Earth ones.
So I didn't bring this up. I didn't do this. That's incorrect. No, again, just because I point out how some dumb broad brought up Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes proved the globe.
I didn't bring him up. Oh my God, he's just going to spur through me, moderators. He's laid something at my door, moderators, and I'm challenging it. He's saying it's mine. No, it's not. I did not bring this up. Some dumb woman, an idiot, a buffoon, a vapid, foolish, silly woman using words she didn't know the meaning of, suggested Eratosthenes. That's not me. It is flat Earth measurements of altitude angles. They're just not mine. Second time.
I said that I'd never been convinced by any flat earther yet. You brought up Eratosthenes.
No, I didn't. Moderators, can you just, he's just going to keep putting this on my doorstep. Moderators, can you just remove him from the discussion? Woman brought up Eratosthenes. I did not bring this up, and he keeps putting it on my doorstep because he wants to strawman me with it, and I'm not going to do it. I've done it for about the last 2 straight weeks with him. Please, moderators, I don't want to do this. It's making my show boring. I've got an audience. And it's boring. He keeps doing the same thing. A globe earther comes along, a woman, and says the word Eratosthenes and experiment. I did not do that. Now, when I take apart that claim by her as being a flat Earth measurement, this man then decides that that's going to become my claim. No. And I'm sick of doing it. He's been doing it for 2 straight weeks, probably 3. Sick of it. It's boring. It's not my claim. I did not bring it up as he just lied. That was a lie he just told. Yeah, you made that claim, end quote him. No, I didn't. Everybody heard it. It was the woman that made it, not me. It's not mine. I'm not going to defend my opponent's globe Earth suggestions of experiments that you don't know the meaning of. No. Next.
Seems to be a common thing lately where they come in and they tell us what we think flat Earth should be based off of their ideas. And if we don't agree with that, then we're not flat earthers.
Or they come and offer a flat Earth measurement to suggest they've got a globe. And when you go, oh, wow, you've just handed me a flat Earth measurement, in this case, altitude angles made by Eratosthenes, you go, you've got a flat Earth measurement. And then someone on the sideline goes, well, that's yours now. And you're like, no, it isn't. It's the globe Earth's flat Earth measurement that they appealed to with a suggestion that it was a ball. Had it not been challenged, it would be a flat Earth measurement that was suggested to prove a frickin' ball. And that would be fine, I guess. But the minute it's pointed out that it's a flat Earth measurement, suddenly it becomes mine. No, it was formerly a flat Earth measurement suggested to prove a ball. Now it's just a flat Earth measurement of altitude angles. Not Nathan's, a baller's, that fails because it actually is a flat Earth measurement they are appealing to. But when they appeal to their flat Earth measurements, suggested to prove Earth's a ball, I'm not going to take ownership of them. Far from it. They're not my measurements. I'm not claiming Eratosthenes. I don't even know if the man existed. Why would I be claiming him? He might not even be real. There's no primary sources for him. So he might be completely made up. I don't care. I'm not claiming him. But the measurements in the story, the rhetoric, has flat Earth elevation angles in the rhetoric. Earth's measured flat in this story, from surface level, with angles, altitude angles, specifically. They're not experiments. And to sound smart, you might be an idiot and say that it's an experiment. It's not, but that's what happens when you use words you don't know the meaning of. You get called an idiot, a stupid woman that's claiming Eratosthenes, not me. Glad we cleared that up. Earth's measured flat. Right, I've got about a couple more minutes here. If there's not anything else new, I'll round out the live show. Pleasure always being in Discord on Politics server. Hopefully one of my mods can stick a link to the Politics server in my live stream chat. And if you do want to join and participate in the Politics fun, then click on that link. 72 people watching, so I'm sure one of you will want to take part in the fun that's to be had in the Politics Discord server. The section, the room in the Politics Discord server is called Flat Earth 24/7 or 24/7 Flat Earth. So check it out. Any more for any more.
Where's the elevation angle in the Eratosthenes?
It's the stick and the shadow, the degree.
Where?
It's on screen now. So it's got shadow, Alexandria, and cyan. This is the visual demonstration of the altitude angle measured by Eratosthenes on screen for my audience. The distance between the two.
Where's the measured angle?
On screen for my audience to see, where it says the word shadow with an angle. Is it just me, or did I literally say this 5 seconds ago?
So the shadow's the angle, is it?
But why are you asking me about this? I didn't claim it. Again, second crack of the whip. I literally just spent 3 minutes straight. Oh, he's going to spurg through me while I start. Yeah, straight immediate spurg. I just spent about 3 straight minutes pointing out that this angle measurement I've been asked about twice, even though I've answered it twice, isn't mine. I didn't claim this. This is an angle. I'm pointing at the angle appealed to by the dumb woman. This is not an experiment, the thing I'm pointing to. It's an angle, an elevation angle, diagrammatically exemplified on screen. It's not mine. If you want to ask the woman why she appealed to this shite, then go into a separate room and ask her. Don't ask me to justify someone else's bleeding claim after I point out that altitude angles are what's being measured. And I've got pictorial examples. It's not my claim. I've just pointed that out. So now why are you asking me about it is my question back to you. It's not mine.
Well, I would say that the height of the stick and the length of the shadow would be what was measured.
So you think the little degree symbol next to the angle was a height measurement when it's got a little degree symbol next to it? Well, I would put it to you that you're a retard if you think that a number with a little degree symbol after it is a height measurement. It seems you don't understand that it's an angle acquisition. Nothing. Now that's the next.
The angle wouldn't be measured.
Would it? Angle. A minute ago it was height. Again, why is this at my doorstep?
Yeah, it was. It's the height of the stick and the length of the shadow, the measurements that were made in the Eratosthenes, and the distance between the 2 points.
But flat Earth in all respect then. Altitude, if it's to be taken as true what Bev says, that the degree of the angle that's being measured is actually an altitude. Altitude's perpendicular to a plane of reference. So the height of this, spurg straight through the top of me responding to him. If I take it as read, that what this man says is true, then we have an altitude measurement. Quote him, height of stick. Height is perpendicular to a plane. In the vertical, tied axiomatically to a plane. So you understand that to get the height of the stick, end quote you, that's a prerequisite flat Earth, planar, perpendicular altitude measurement in the vertical. It doesn't need confirming. It is a flat Earth measurement. Verticality is only afforded you from the horizontal. That's what vertical is. So the height, that's a flat Earth measurement. Distance, you went on to say, yeah, that's a flat Earth linear value also. So we've got a flat Earth height, according to you, and a flat Earth distance, according to you. So Earth's being measured flat. Yes, it is. Yes, for height and distance. Next. In fact, I might round out. It's Friday. Done an hour and a quarter. Maybe one more person. Smash the super chat to support this channel. If you do have the financial means to support me by buying me a coffee or hitting up the PayPal link below this video, then please do so, as that is very specifically how we keep the lights on here at Flat Earth Debate. Please share the show. There's a little button to share on the favourite platform of your choice, be it Bebo or MySpace or Skype, whatever it is you're using currently. So please share the show by that button underneath the show link. If you did want to join the Flat Earth 24/7 Politics Discord server, then hopefully one of my mods will stick a link to the Politics server in the live stream chat. If you're watching after the fact, click on Chat Replay, and then you can get a link to the Politics server on the after the fact upload, or re-up if you want to call it that. Any more for any more? No. In that case, I will say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Woohoo!
I can't
What's going on? What did I miss? Did she define an experiment?
Did she, Al? She went, I'll go to AI and ask it what it means. You're like, are you serious? You come onto a live stream.
This is what we got today.
To say that you're doing an experiment, you don't even know what the word means. Oh my God.
She's not there in good faith. I've seen her there for a few weeks now. Nothing in good faith, takes no words that anybody tells her. But also, she's about 16, they said, so.
What does that even mean in good faith?
Dumb. She just sounded dumb to me. I've met plenty of dumb women in my time. She just sounded like one of them.
Yeah, Neil, all I meant is she's not there to have like a back and forth, respectful discourse. She's there to play games, troll, not take in any of the information, and just revert back to her zero position that it's a ball.
Which they're entitled to do, right? I mean, there's been a narrative set up for people to brace against, called Flat Earth. It's nothing to do with Earth being measured flat. It's everything to do with a group of people creating a social group to say Earth's not a ball, and then to have people like her come along and say, oh yes it is, and for so-called flat earthers to go, oh no it isn't, and then argue about what gravity is or isn't, and ignore distance, altitudes, sea level, surface level, eye level, altitude angles, azimuth, directionality, scales on maps, everything. It all gets ignored, and by ignored I mean utilised to say Earth's not a ball. So if the distance to the horizon and the height above sea level is beyond what I see in my camera, you're like, hang on, you've got a flat Earth measurement from sea level and a flat Earth distance to say that it's not a ball. You didn't need any of that. You didn't need to put it into a logical consistency. You just need to say distance, full stop. What do you mean distance, full stop? Well, we've measured it. Flat. Well, no, it's not. It might be deviating. All right, well, like rise over run, the vertical deviation from the horizontal measured miles. We've got horizontal measured miles. That's the end. There's no discussion. Everybody uses them. If you're a baller, you say 8 inches per mile squared. So you need the mile to be flat and linear to square it then? Yes, they do. Everybody measures Earth flat. And so long as nobody mentions how flat things like miles and heights are, you can argue about how far curves should be, ignoring that you're using flat Earth measurements to do it. Or, if you're a globe earther, a flat earther, an anti-glober, you use flat Earth measurements to say how non-ball shaped it is. It's absolutely bleeding ludicrous. Anyway, that's our lot in life. Up until 6 months ago, maybe between that period, 2 years to 6 months ago, all of us were doing the same, sniffing our own farts, pointing out how non-heliocentric the world was. And then at one point, refracted curvature went out and said, I will concede all of your globe Earth points, because it was all reliant on flat Earth measurements the whole time. Today's example was Eratosthenes, like this diagram on screen. But it doesn't matter. John described it the other day as being a position where they come to you, they offer you a flat Earth measurement, and as you try and point out that they've handed you a flat Earth measurement, they try and, while you're talking, bat that flat Earth measurement out of your hand with another flat Earth measurement. So in the case of today, well, you're measuring an angle with respect to a plane. No, we're measuring the height. So let's slap that flat Earth elevation angle out of your hand, and I'll slap it out of your hand with an altitude from the surface level perpendicular to a plane. You're like, really? So you don't like me holding this flat Earth measurement? You'll slap it out of my hand with a different flat Earth measurement. What? Why? This is silly. You don't like me using angle? Oh, right, so we'll use altitude from a flat Earth instead. Okay. Comments from yesterday's show. Tessie Tiger, quote, "There is no such thing as an, quote, equatorial plane, end quote, on a flat Earth. It's nonsensical, redundant, an oxymoron." Love it. Bumpy Earth 4204 says, "Me sloth, globe level." RYOJI7. He was the guy who provided the link that exposed Toon one of the two times the lies that he was telling. He says, quote, "Brenda trusts," in all capitals, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. "They're finally admitting their belief." And then a load of clapping emojis. Comment from the one that was just mentioned, Toon's Lies episode, which is FED 2581 live Gem Panda's mental breakdown. Roman Perro, "Nathan, quote, elevation specifically means from surface level, end quote. Toon, quote, that's your claim you haven't proven, end quote. Laughing emoji. Meanwhile, some definitions from dictionaries. 1. Elevation, noun, the height above sea level. Altitude. 2. A piece of ground that is higher than an area around. 3. Elevation is a noun that tells you how high something is raised above the surface or ground line. 4. The height of a place above the level of the sea. 5. The elevation of a place is its height above sea level. We're probably at an elevation of around 1,300 feet above sea level. Toon. Nothing to do with the ground or surface in my geometric proof, end quote. I love it when the audience sees it and it's really glaring to the point where they can really concisely break it down in humorous terminology. If you can take the example that's happened on screen in the show and make a joke with it, it is as obvious as is required for somebody who's about 80 IQ, the lowest common denominator that's watching the show, the stupidest person watching the show. Now, I don't know that that's someone with an 80 IQ, but I'm going to guess that if you were below that, the show just wouldn't hold your attention. But somebody of a higher degree of intelligence than about 80 IQ can take the glaring, obvious nature of a lie from McToon and put it into terms where it's amusing to read back. Oh, it's got nothing to do with the ground. Here's a string of definitions that directly ties it to the ground then. Because that'll be funny, showing how stupid McToon is, with quotes and definitions that violate axioms that he's denying, when he measures the ground flat. I like how obvious it's become to anybody who's got half a brain, basically. Earth being measured flat is actually very basic to understand, and the reason is simple. If you're going to suggest a globe, which is undoubtedly more complicated, you start by making the flat measurement. Therefore, if you have any comprehension of a globe to any degree, you can only understand the flat Earth prerequisite it's built on because it'll be part of your suggestion of a globe. As an example, 8 inches per mile squared. To understand that means you understand that the mile's flat. Now, it's never been pointed out, it was always without being said. It went without saying that miles are linear, that the map scales and distances are flat, that they've been measured so we can employ the accuracy that they offer when we say, well, this object in the distance, how far? Well, 10 miles. Like, so notwithstanding that we've got a flat prerequisite measured mile distance in the horizontal then, it's just no one ever said it. Now that it's being said, people go, oh yeah, of course, that's really obvious. Love it. Yeah, we've reached the point where we can appeal how flat Earth is and how flat Earth is measured to the lowest common denominator, the stupidest person watching. I don't even want to say stupidest, the person with the lowest intellect level. That's how they brainwash. You know, they make it acceptable to the dumbest person. I remember hearing this term when I was about 8 years old. Somebody on a relatively highbrow British TV game show or parlour quiz, accused one of the other people of dumbing down their answer. In other words, appealing to the lowest common denominator in intellect terms. And that's where I first heard that term, and I'm like, dumbing down? What does that mean? And I remember looking it up going, okay, so making your explanation so simplistic that somebody who's pretty dumb can understand it, dumbing it down. That's where we're at. Flat Earth is dumbed down to the point where anyone can understand it now. Would anybody disagree with that?
Definitely not. No, it has come down to the basic, just, the measurements. No, there's no nonsense waffle anymore about one thing and another. It's all down to measurements, sea level, altitude, elevation angles.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just simple.
It's what I call the KISS system. Keep it simple, stupid. I mean, if you make it simple, then anybody can understand it. Just people falling over themselves because they think it can't be that simple. It must be more complicated.
And by contrast, the globe is more complicated. So if your starting point is understanding a prerequisite of linear distance to derive squared function from it, then the squared function after the fact is more complicated than the initial flat linear distance. That is to say, anybody who considers themselves even remotely educated in heliocentrism definitely has the mental capability of understanding flat Earth by prerequisite, because it's included in their own claim every single time they make a claim. So they can't not understand it. So then they've only got a couple of choices. Either relinquish the measurement they've just relied upon, like Eratosthenes' measurement of Earth as a flat plane. It's like, you're appealing to this. So therefore, if you pretend, as a pseudo-intellectual knowing what science and experiment is, that you understand this, then that level of understanding is beyond the prerequisites that are used within that understanding. Now, don't get me wrong, that description is flawed because there's bullshitters. Like that woman. Perfect timing to explain this. People pretend to understand their suggested globe proof, and in reality they don't even know the words coming out of their own frickin' mouth half the time. So those people are the 80 IQ people pretending to be smart in a room full of people smarter than they, and they want to hang with the smart people, so they use words that they don't understand, like experiment, to suggest that they already know they're on a ball. But like it says in the Bible, by pretending to be smart they demonstrated themselves stupid.
She was just an idiot. I mean, we witnessed this yesterday with two guys, didn't we, wherever it was. They're just coming in and just talking. I think they're just doing it on purpose, just absolute talking, absolute garbage, try and get a reaction, try and wind everybody up. But it's good because you're staying calm with it, Nathan, and going through the explanations, trying to respond. And it's just highlighting it even more to the audience how dumbed down these people are in reality. Absolute idiots. And then I jumped in. I was late today, and I jumped in, and I thought, I was just hearing the exact same thing off Brenda. I thought, it was like deja vu. I thought, am I in yesterday's show? She's going over the same thing, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Absolute pathetic at the moment, these Globers.
I've been listening for a little while now, and it's the common theme, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that so many of these people lack the ability to have inferential knowledge where they can presuppose. They recognize the presupposition of their, they can't recognize the presupposition of their own argument, and it leads them into this dead end where they just get obliterated. Is that accurate to say?
Well, yeah, and as Nathan's been demonstrating over the last 3 weeks, and which is what they've been doing for all the time, is they offer you the flat Earth measurements. We've just skipped past it for some time when they spoke about distance or the height of something. These are all tied into, a planar measurement. And that's what they offer you. They will give you the flat Earth measurements for you. Demonstrators, they don't talk about curvature. They don't want to talk about the curvature. Brenda's demonstrated that yesterday. She doesn't know how it was measured. She doesn't know who. She just relies on Wiki for people to tell how it was done.
Yeah, I heard that. That was fascinating, and it almost like it seemed that it almost seemed as he or she, I'm not sure what the hell exactly. I don't want to denigrate, but they were there with us for a while, sort of wanting to seem like him, listen and actually learn. But then it went back to default settings and the walls came up, and it was just like, shoot, why didn't it break through for that person?
Exactly. It's so simple. I mean, we've got sea level. I mean, that is the starting point of all measurements on Earth. It's used for all elevation profiles, linear, horizontal, distance measurements. For all elevation profiles, it's level. That's where you start. We're using the mean sea level for all future further measurements. The place is level to then go and measure level. We've got no choice about it. That's what we've got to deal with. Sea level's the most dumbed down sort of proof of it, really, because that's the starting point, and it's level, and it's called sea level, and you can look at it on a map. You can see the 0 degree baseline for all elevation profiles on Earth. I mean, how simplified do you want it?
Yeah, don't get much more basic than that.
In it, I mean, that is the most simplified thing to speak about. You don't have to go any further than that, really.
Well, what frustrates me is when they lie. Well, they say things like, coincidentally, when this diagram was on screen, that elevations are from the centre of Earth. No, they're not. Elevation angles can be transposed into the centre of Earth after measuring them off a surface level that is then lied about being bent. It's like, these definitions are violated when they're required to be violated by bald believers. So the plane of reference is level. That means no part higher or lower than another. But if we're talking about the surface that we're measuring level, then it's comporting to a sphere. Like, they cherry pick the way they will define things. Very non-Socratic in terms of their use of definitions. Very fast and loose when defining things that don't comport. And it's always the same. Okay, I accept that this is being measured flat, but only if I can either say that level, that's flatness, isn't actually level, it bends with a sphere, or say that it's level and being measured level, but with a ball dangling below it that's not being measured. Then I can accept the plane that's being measured. If I've got a ball dangling, it's like, it's sad. It's, at this point, it is sad. They're delusional, like lying to themselves.
Yeah. Like John was trying to explain yesterday to, I can't remember who his elder bear, I think it was, yeah. They want the planar measurement, like you've just explained. They want a tangent plane. You know, that's okay. They can measure planar measurements from the plane, or they can use the equatorial plane inside the ball. But it's both. It's all planar measurements that they're, you know, using. They're never using a curve measurement.
Exactly.
And they
All we
never
seem to do all
explain
day,
a curve measurement.
all we seem to do all day is argue about flat measurements. That's all we seem to do at the moment. We're arguing about tangent planes, elevation angles, equatorial planes, azimuthal directionality, horizontality, surface level, sea level, eye level. But everything we talk about currently is just flat Earth measurements and how the ballers want to use them and occasionally redefine what level means. That's all we're talking about. No, the reason is because that's what the ball measurements that don't exist are based on. They're calculations based on flat Earth measurements.
Exactly.
At the moment,
that's what we've been doing for some time.
That doesn't frustrate me as much as when they lie. It annoys me. It's like, lie to yourself all you like, right? You're entitled to your belief. And if something contradicts your belief and then you have to lie to yourself about it, that's your bag, right? You can do whatever you want to do. But don't lie to me. Don't lie to my audience. Furthermore, if you get caught lying, don't immediately rinse and repeat the exact same thing you got caught out lying with the following day in my presence. Because again, it's just going to piss me off, isn't it? As it would.
Definitely.
Yeah, as it would with anybody. You know, being lied to, especially when you've caught the person out. It's like, just being lied to is one thing. But when the person's been demonstrated a liar, had their lie pointed out, had it conclusively summarised to them personally, and then within 24 hours, after saying, no, I take satisfaction out of the win you've given me that I didn't really get, 24 hours later, well, now I'm still going to continue to appeal to the exact same lie. You know, like, that's just gross. Well, that's repugnant behaviour.
Yeah, I think the whole purpose of them at the moment is just to, like you say, annoy whoever they're talking to, talk absolute nonsense, contradict themselves. They're not in here for a decent conversation. They're not talking about, you know, like I said to Brenda today, you know, you think you'd be ramming some globe measurements down our throats and saying, you know, telling us how ridiculous we are for using sea level and saying that altitude, you know, is vertical above the horizontal plane. You know, all these terminologies that you're using, and you should be telling us we are absolutely pathetic and incorrect, but you don't. Like Nathan just said, all you're arguing about is what level is. Yeah, it is. We do need a plane, a tangent plane with a dingling dangleberry underneath it, or we need the equatorial plane inside a ball that we're not in. I mean, what is up with these people?
Yeah, but the point is, most people Google their answers. I mean, Brenda's saying that flat is curved, and then you go to Google and look at the spirit level. Have a look what it says. It says, you know, that gravity is curving a spirit level, basically. I mean, I put it in flip side text. Look at what it says, and, you know, it's ridiculous. It all comes down to gravity. That's all they've got.
Downward vector perpendicular to a plane also.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Google says flat is curved. and look at the spirit,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's it, and that's enough for most people. Oh well, Wiki says that it's a ball, therefore it's a ball.
Yeah. But like I say, going on about sea level again, 0 degree baseline for all elevation profiles on Earth. You can go and look at a map, any map you like, any OS map or whatever you want to look at. It'll show you the horizontal levelness of that line, but then measuring all elevations above and below it, and it's horizontal. You can just go and look at it yourself. You can go outside and with a compass, using a map and a compass, and you can plot some, trig points on that map, and you can measure the distance between the 2 points, and you can go and navigate between them 2 points back and forth using your compass, which you will be holding horizontally parallel to the surface that you're navigating. So you can just go and prove to yourself that you've measured and you've navigated Earth flat just with a compass and an OS map. Cost you about 12 quid.
I mean, you've obviously heard the term Google knows everything, and that's where Google doesn't. Google's actually deluding you half the time. I mean,
well, Google Maps uses elevation profile from sea level. Yeah, it has to. That's how this place is measured, from sea level. And it's level, it's not curved.
Right, I'm going to round out with that. I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Millimeter, it be accurately measured. It's measured flat, direction up and down. Flat level we at, flight over ground. Descending from that breeze, heading in degrees. Horizontal, flat.